You ever seen one of these online before? So you're getting ready to start a podcast and you think one of these things is necessary. Well, got it. It's not, unless you're going to use it for that, which is swatting flies. In this video, I'm going to explain everything you need to know about these things, and whether or not you need them or not. First of all, these things are just in the way, and they're probably blocking your pretty little face from actually being seen because, well, this fly swatter is in your face. Now, it's important that we admit you probably bought this because you watched a YouTube video with someone using it. Or someone says, you need one of these because, well, it helps block the spit from your microphone. Both of those things are very untrue. The actual use for this is to block the P's and the pop words you would potentially say. However, there are a majority of microphones being created today that do not need a pop filter. That's right. Like the one I'm talking on right now. It includes one built already into it. Or a lot of these microphones that you're getting have good enough quality sound that if you're not too far on the microphone and really smothering it, you're not going to pop that microphone. Your word emphasis is not going to pop on it. But I can guarantee you this little piece of foam right on top of whatever microphone you choose to use is not going to change your podcasting game. That's right. And I know I'll probably get a bunch of comments from musicians and audio engineers. Well, that's not who I'm talking to. In this video, I'm talking to the average podcaster just getting started and needs to know exactly what they need and not too much of what they need. Let's talk a little bit more about it. Okay, reason number one that you don't want to utilize one of these is because you're going to block your entire face when you're on video, which kind of defeats the entire purpose. Now, while I don't believe there are video podcasts, there is a video component involved with podcasting where you're probably recording when you're doing interviews, something like Facebook Live, Instagram Live, Zoom, Riverside.fm, and you got that big giant pop filter in your face. It doesn't really make sense that you're allowing that to be an unneeded eyesore. You want to make sure that the shot that you're giving your audience for the content, they can actually see your entire pretty face, not being blocked partially. Now, I made a post about this earlier this week, and a lot of people didn't even know that they didn't need them. A majority of people just bought one, well, because the internet says so. And, well, because I saw so-and-so had one, and I just assumed that I needed it. I don't know why I need it, but I saw someone else with it, so I guess I need it. It's important to understand exactly what equipment that we're acquiring for our podcast and do we actually need it. That's why I felt it necessary to create a video to talk just about pop filters for a moment. Now, if you're a seasoned musician and you record in a studio, chances are you're singing into a pretty expensive microphone. And in the event that a pop filter is needed, a sound engineer, an audio engineer, and only a professional with those type of credentials has an ear and can justify whether or not you actually need a pop filter for your voice, for your tonality, for exactly how you sound. But that involves music and singing in different tones. Usually when we're talking, it's not comparable to singing. It is a form of speaking still, but you're not trying to hit specific notes and have a certain tonality to your pacing and the way that you show up while you're talking. So I just want to break it down a little bit because a lot of people, I see far too many pictures. People did a brand. This is my favorite. People will do a branding or a personal branding photo shoot or a branding photo shoot for their podcast, and they've got this pop filter just right here. Could you imagine? You hired a photographer, you paid them money to have this in your face. So I'm kind of over here. It reminds me of I'm dating myself a little bit here, but Home Improvement. The neighbor, you could never see the neighbor. He was always just with his hat and his eyes over the fence. That's kind of what it's like. So this is more of a public service announcement than anything because I want you to understand that just because you may see somebody else having it doesn't necessarily mean that you actually need it. I've mentioned on this channel several times before, some of my equipment recommendations. I'm going to do an updated version of that coming very soon. That's going to give you an idea. I mean, for 40 or 50 bucks, you can get one of my favorite microphones, an Audio-Technica ATX 2100, I think, for like 49 bucks. It's an incredible microphone. Travels with me wherever I go, and it's USB and XLR. No pop filter required. Unless, of course, you saw somebody else with a pop filter and you think that maybe you need it. Another one is the younger sibling of this microphone, the Shure MV7. Run you about $225 to $250, USB and XLR, no pop filter required. I know that sounds mind-boggling. What is this guy talking about? Everyone has one of those pop filters. No, everyone doesn't. Everyone that doesn't understand exactly how podcast equipment works and what you actually need, they may actually have it. But I can assure you, every single time that I see someone with a pop filter in front of them, especially with that hideous Blue Yeti microphone, while that's a great microphone, it looks like a big, gigantic spaceship in front of you, and then you put a fly swatter on top of it. Boy, we have got some sort of concoction here of podcast equipment in front of us just blocking the... You have to understand that when you have a distraction, that's all that your audience focuses on. That's all that your viewer focuses on is the distraction, not the message, not you, and not what you're talking about. So this is a bit of a rant video, if you will, but I'm out here to inflict change. I'm out here to disrupt the status quo of what people think should be done on here. And I hope this video brings some clarity. And for you sound engineers and audio experts out there, feel free to just bombard me in the comments with why this video may be inaccurate. But I'm talking to the average podcaster, the average Joe, the average Mary, the average Betty that are just getting started with their podcast, or a business is starting with their podcast, and they're investing in podcast equipment, but they don't want to buy anything unnecessary. I've got an entire drawer full of equipment that I bought over the past 13 years. I try to sell it as often as possible because it's unnecessary. You know, the next thing I'm getting ready to sell, this thing right here. I'm going to sell it for about $3. I might get 2 for it. Who knows? Well, I hope but seriously, I hope you're leaving this video knowing at least 1 or 2 things that you didn't know about these unnecessary things. Now, they do serve some sort of purpose, but when you're just getting started with a podcast, you don't need it. So if you're using one of these right now, all you need to do is just unscrew it from your microphone or your microphone stand, and then gently place it in the trash can. Or do what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell mine on eBay for $2. I might get $1.50 for it. I changed my mind here. Either way, you don't need a pop filter. Any questions, thoughts, ideas, concerns about the world of podcasting, please comment below or comments on this video. Bring them on. I do respond to each and every one of you lovely people. Till next time.